If there's one thing Sony's got right in the mobile business, is the great performance of its flagship phones, the Xperia Z3 for instance, as well as its mini versions, we're referring to the compact. Apparently, now the company wants to expand that to mid-rangers as well. I'm Anton with Pocketnow, doing a quick show floor comparison between the new Xperia M4 Aqua and the Xperia Z3. The Sony Xperia Z3 needs no introduction. Just like its predecessor, it performed really well in our review, and it was, and still is, a top phone to consider. With the newly announced Xperia M4 Aqua, Sony wants to set a new standard for mid-range devices, and it has every chance of succeeding. If our demo unit would have been black, like our Xperia Z3, we would have had a hard time telling them apart. The M4 Aqua is basically a mid-ranger copy of the flagship at first glance. The outer aspect is almost identical, and Sony has kept its water and dustproofing construction made famous by the Z line. It's not only the looks and waterproofing that the M4 Aqua borrows from the Z3. Sony emphasized that camera capabilities, as well as 2-day battery life, to be confirmed upon review of course, are also flagship features it brought over. Furthermore, with the M4 Aqua, Sony takes a step further in coating the charging port, making it waterproof without the need of an additional flap to cover it. However, making a mid-ranger requires some sacrifices, like toned-down internals or cheaper materials. We'll touch on internals in our next segment, but opposed to the Xperia Z3, the M4 Aqua doesn't feature an all-glass backplate. Instead, Sony switched that out to plastic. Moving on to the internals is where the similarities stop. The Xperia Z3 packs a 5.2-inch Full HD screen, 2.5 GHz Snapdragon 801 processor, 3 GB of RAM, 16 GB of expandable memory, and the 20.7 megapixel shooter on the back. Compared to that, the M4 Aqua has a 5-inch HD display, 64-bit Snapdragon 615 octa-core processor clocked at 1.5 GHz plus 1 GHz for the two quad-core systems, 2 GB of RAM, 8 or 16 GB of expandable storage, and a 13-megapixel main camera. These toned-down specifications, however, don't seem to impact on performance, and they're pretty admirable for a mid-range device. On the software side, Xperia Z3 owners will be jealous because the M4 Aqua is already running Lollipop. Sony's own custom user interface has been slightly tweaked to adhere to Google's Material design, but aside from that, all the apps and functionality are present and working as they should. Camera capabilities are similar, with Sony's automatic scenes and shooting modes in addition to manual, and a cornucopia of other options available to the user. Front-firing speakers offer improved multimedia capabilities, and overall, the M4 Aqua is definitely a phone you should consider if you're on a budget or just looking for a mid-ranger. We will have more thoughts on this once we do an in-depth comparison as part of our review procedure at Pocketnow for the Xperia M4, but until then, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media. I've been Anton. If you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. I thank you for your time, and I will see you next time.